It's turning. What's going on, man? Another A2HH live. We got Coop in the building. It's your boy Mike D in the building, man. How was your week, bro?
It's been long, but it's been good.
Well,
Just
happy
asking about you.
holidays too. You know.
Same to you. Peace and blessings. Trying to get out of some of the more paganized traditions as my
Word.
daughter is getting older. Yeah, I mean, my kids getting older. Like, I mean, have you looked up like what Christmas is really about? Like, from like the sense of how we celebrate it, like with the Christmas tree and all that. Go look up like the Nordic people and all of that.
Well,
So,
I know we could go on and on with that. We're welcoming everybody
right.
into the room. Nicki just celebrated her birthday, and a question came up because she's been in the game nonstop, 11 years, and she's still doing
Feels like
numbers.
longer. It
And
feels like
what's that? It
it
feels
feels
longer.
like
Yeah,
feels
it
longer.
does feel longer. And the question came up because she was trending on Twitter, and she was trending because it was calling her the queen of rap. And then a lot of
Yeah.
people would just. I think people fought that from the jump, and people are coming in the room giving their opinions right now. People saying arguably, some are saying hell nah, and whatever. But anyway, people have been fighting that since day one. I think because she came in the game with a real big Lil Kim influence, clearly, and so I don't know, man. After 11 years later, 11 years after her debut, what she dropped in 2010, the Monster verse was 2010. She was doing mixtape. I think she signed the Young Money in '09. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I think I heard her 07, 08 ish though, like on the Slam DVD.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She had the Slam DVDs out there. And when you think about that, the fact that, the work that she put in and the generation that she influenced, I guess what made me really think about it is when Mulatto posted that picture of when, she was a big Nicki
I saw
fan
that.
and she was a little
Saw
girl.
that.
She's a grown woman now. This reminds me of some LeBron James type stuff, like where you see like a lot of these players that are LeBron's contemporaries now when they were little kids showing up at All-Star games with LeBron James as a grown man. And that's what made me think like, whoa, like where
Jason Tatum. Yeah.
yeah, Jason Tatum. But yeah, it makes you think like, okay, all time, based on the work that's been put in, based on the records that's been set, based on the albums that's been put out, and let's just talk about Nicki's skill set too. There hasn't really been a confirmed ghostwriter out there. We haven't really had any reference tracks like we have with other female MCs. No disrespect, and Nicki continuously puts it out there that she doesn't have any ghostwriters. So who would you put ahead of Nicki? Let's start right there. And what are your thoughts on Nicki being the go to rap, female go to rap?
Okay, so I'm super fortunate and blessed to like roll in so many different diverse circles of people from so many places. And so I want to tell you, it just so happened that a woman that I know who is from New York, who I know is not a hip hop fan per se anymore, Mike. Like if you hop in the whip with her, you're probably going to hear gospel music actually.
Right.
And she actually came to me about this whole Nicki thing and was
Mm.
like, yo, like, she was pretty much like, I mean, she was like, is that a joke, Armand? She was like, is that a joke? I'm like, what do you mean? Like her being like queen of like rap, like, like this is a New Yorker, a female from New York talking. That's why I'm offering her perspective before I'm offering mine. This is a female from New York
Okay.
who is in our age bracket that was there, like when Lil Kim was coming out and was big and can remember. It's
Mm.
like, yo, like that's not even a conversation if you were there for Kim, is what she was saying. She was like, it's not even a conversation because at Nicki's whole peak was based off of Kim's whole swag. And she pointed out the fact that she can't rap better than Kim. And
Mm.
she's right on both accounts, in my opinion. And
You.
so that's the insight.
I. I'm
So I
not.
want to.
Go
I
ahead.
just think as far as like a Nicki Lil Kim thing, the fact that I actually got a female's perspective, like unabated, and she happened to be from New York, like that matters, and like that part of it needs to be heard. That's a woman's voice and perspective who has been there for both of those eras,
Right.
and is musically gifted herself, like saying those things. So yeah,
Well, what is your opinion on it? I mean, Nicki being the queen of rap.
I actually I echo that lady's sentiments. Actually, if we're talking Queen of Rap in its totality, I've always told you like I prefer Foxy because I just love the way her delivery comes off. Like it's just so hood. I love it. Like I really do. But it would be Kim if we're talking like the totality of things because she's an icon in a way that Nicki isn't, and the separation isn't even the swagger jacking per se, it's the music, Mike. Kim's made significantly better music. She has seminal records and verses.
Okay.
Like and I have to be honest with you. Hardcore is the first album that I heard niggas bump.
The chat room, the chat room's actually blowing up, and of course, we're gonna name other people that people consider, right? MC Light's another one, right? MC Light, Queen Latifah, what? Kim, Foxy, Lauren, Missy. But see, this is the thing.
Yes, but
do you want to get on the Lauren, or you want
to? Hold on. Yes, but no for Lauren. You're not about to treat 3 Stacks this way and let Lauren in this conversation. So if 3 Stacks is out, Lauren is out.
All right. Well, this is the thing, man.
Because if she's actually in, at least like MC wise, this isn't a conversation, right? Right.
Well, MC Light, right? I think that for a long time, a lot of people consider MC Light the GOAT. Now, all the things you just said about Lil' Kim, you put Lil' Kim over MC Light?
Personally, no. Objectively, yes. Personally, Light is still my choice, but if I look at the objectively, Kim has influenced more people than Light has, and music-wise, I think it's about a draw. And seminal record-wise, I think it's about a draw, too.
So you don't think that, playing devil's advocate here, you don't think that even though Nicki was clearly influenced by Kim and Fox, you don't think that Nicki has influenced what we see in female rap today? I mean, because really, we're seeing a surge of female MCs or females in hip hop that we haven't seen in a very long time, and just based on their age, they have to be Nicki influenced. Megan's clearly Nicki influenced, right?
I'm not saying that it's not a conversation at all. I don't want to discredit Nicki in that matter. But I mean, hearing a woman who has lived through both of their eras, that's from New York, where both of them are from, like say that I'm going to lean in that direction because of that. Just because, once again, we don't get enough female opinions, and this is a female-driven conversation, so I'm going to lean on that a little bit. And personally, I kind of feel that way and was leaning that way before I got that unabated, information.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just hard.
Like, how about this? Does Nicki have one record that stands up to No Time or Crush on You? Does she have a verse that stands up to the Quiet Storm remix verse?
Well, some would say that her Monster verse on Kanye. So okay. you got Quiet Storm's verse over Monster's verse.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. When you really look at it, it's like, are we having that conversation? It's like, go listen to Nicki's verse on Monster. Go pick one of Kim's verses. Go pick the All About the Benjamins verse, which I actually think bar for bar is probably better than the Quiet Storm remix verse. It's just that she took Light's shit, and Light's an icon, and it was kind of an icon taken from another icon when she took Hot Damn Ho, Here We Go Again. So that was part of it. Bar-wise, All About the Benjamins is actually a better verse. Nicki doesn't have a verse that's fucking with either one of those verses, in my opinion. And No Time's a hip hop classic. All About the Benjamins, hip hop classic. Yeah. Quiet Storm remix, hip hop classic. And it's rare that a remix becomes a classic when the song is already a classic, and that's some of Prodigy's best shit. She out-rapped Prodigy on the remix. Prodigy laid down some of the best stuff on his career on the original version. Like, she came with it.
Yeah, I don't think that his remix verse was anywhere near as strong as his regular verse. I think if he would have came with the bars from the regular verse.
I mean, for me, Mike, that year, I thought Quiet Storm, the original version, was probably the song of the year, in my opinion, and his verses on there were probably the verses of the year, in my opinion.
So the way you talking, it sounds like you got Lil' Kim at number one. Like, if we talking about, let's just say top 5 female MCs all time, like, what are you looking at?
Well, listen to what I just said about her musically, and we're not even talking about the stuff that she might be known for the most that at this point, which is the fashion and branding and the image and the moments where she wore the green suit with the, you know what I'm saying?
Right. The
We're not
Diana
even
Ross.
bringing, yeah, we're not even bringing up all of that. We just talking about the music right now, and she's in the conversation. And so if Nicki got her style from her, we can't point to a Nicki song. We can't point to a Nicki verse.
Where does Eve fit in all this to you? I mean, you got Nicki over Eve, or vice
Yeah,
versa.
yeah, you have to put Nicki over Eve on impact and catalog. Yeah,
Okay.
I think Eve is a better rapper, but yeah.
I think Eve's a better rapper than Kim too.
Uh, uh, I mean, so, bar for bar, probably.
Yeah.
Like spit, like I think Foxy and Eve are actually better rappers than Kim. But that totality of making a song, and I'm gonna get to that when we talk about Boldy's album a little bit about what it actually means to make a full complete song, like 3 16-bar verses, a 4-bar hook doubled, or a full 8-bar hook, a bridge on a song with a rip, like you know what I'm saying? So Kim knows how to do that better than almost. No, I think Kim probably. Do you know a rap? Is there a rap female that can make a better song than Kim? Isn't she the best song maker out of
I
all
don't
of
know,
them?
man. I mean, because does Kim have a song like Eve's "Love Is Blind"? I mean, did Kim ever
Yes,
really?
she does. Yes, she does. Hold on, off the notorious KIM with Mary J. Blige, where she talks about aborting Biggie's baby. Yes, she does.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Eve. I think Eve is probably. I mean, it's comparable. I think Eve might be the better songwriter between the two. You don't think so?
No, no, no,
Damn,
no,
it
no, no,
sounds
no.
like you got Kim in number one then.
I mean, like I said, personally, it's Light because I just love who Light is, what she represents, how she spit. I think she was the first female that came along that like
Mm-hmm.
truly rapped better than most of the guys that were around at the time. And you know, I think Kim probably had a little bit more competition because the game was a little thicker at the time. But I thought Light fought against more. You
Right.
know. And so, like I said, personally, I would say Light, but if I'm looking at it objectively, yeah, I would probably lean on Kim. She's meant a lot to this culture, and the music is there. And I can't stress this enough. You don't become an icon in music without the music being there, and that's actually where Nicki suffers because it's not that she can't rap, it's not that she doesn't have music or a catalog, but it's like Mike, where are those moments that I just brought up so easily with Kim? And that's
I mean,
not
she
counting
got
others
she
that
got
like
moments. We can't say that Nicki ain't got
not
moments.
like that. Like I haven't brought up how many licks. No matter what people say, the jump
I
off,
really
the
I thought that was really
put
her on her
put your lighters
downturn.
up, Mike. Like Mike, put your lighters up. Like Kim's made a lot of dope records that have been singles. Mike, that's not counting Players Anthem or Get Money, Mike. Come on.
Now I think that
Come on,
that
Mike.
era
Come
that you're
on, Mike.
talking about in the 2000s,
What
I
about
think she was kind of on her downturn with that, and then she kind of came back up with the Naked
the
Truth.
notorious? Hold on, the Notorious, KIM, La Bella
Yeah.
Mafia, and the Naked Truth are all better projects than mostly anything Nicki's ever made, and that's not her best album.
Well, La Bella Mafia was strong. Notorious K.I.M. Nicki got better records than that. I will say that. Now,
Might be a wash at best, Mike, in my opinion. And if you're talking about it, it might be that first album. If you're talking about Pink Friday, I look at Pink Friday, it might be slightly better than the Notorious KIM, but we're talking about Kim's third best album as opposed to, you know.
well, I mean,
Best
let's address the elephant in the room and we'll move on because some people want us to move on to the next subject. But what I want to talk
We got to
about
get
though,
to our business.
I mean,
First,
listen, at the end of the day, we don't talk about female MCs enough, right? But anyway, it feels like, all right, what Busta Rhymes said when he talked about ghostwriters, right? You can't be in the greatest of nothing if you have a ghostwriter, right? And so, does that not apply to female MCs? I mean, let's just be real. You know what I mean? Because everybody that we
hold on. We have to start unpacking a whole nother set of conversations about the barriers being placed, and those barriers are why Light is personally my number one. She fought through the most barriers, and I've never heard of a ghostwriter for Light. Have you?
who yeah, LL wrote her verse on what was it? not
But you
heal.
can
Yeah, heal
elaborate
yourself.
through and stop talking about my ego.
No, he did. LL wrote her verse on what's the posse cut? Karis one put together Stop the
Self
Violence.
destruction.
Yeah. He
Self
wrote.
destruction.
Yeah, LL wrote Light's
That's
verse on
LL,
Self
sir.
Destruction. Yeah, Funky Fresh, dressed to impress, ready to party. Yeah,
Oh, oh.
and
Great.
and there are words around the campfire that Tretch wrote UNITY, and Tretch wrote Just Another Day. I mean, if you listen to it, it sounds like Tretch. It is what it
It's time to get to our black business moment, Mike.
is. So, well, no, real quick though, man.
Yeah.
I know we were talking about Bodie James, and the year that he's had. Well, first of all, the Kid Cudi dropped today, Man on the Moon 3. A lot of people been anticipating this album for a minute. What were your thoughts on Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon 3? Just off top.
Just off the top, solid effort. I told you behind the scenes that it's kind of hard to weigh his projects because they all are consistently good, but consistently good in the same way.
Right.
No real big surprises in my humble estimation, but a good project. It's a pretty fair listen. The thing about him with his style, I wish he actually would have applied more of the Griselda formula and shortened it, but just because of his style and in this day and time, it felt slightly lengthy, even though I know it wasn't. Like
He
Ryan,
sounds very relevant in a sense where he's clearly inspired a lot of the people who are around and dominating today. A Travis Scott, right? And Travis Scott has made no bones about the fact that Kid Cudi is one of his favorite artists and one of his biggest inspirations. They make really good music together too. I'm looking forward to the music that they make together, and that's kind of what I was hearing in this project. I think it was like number 4. It sounded very Travis Scottish, right? But yeah, I mean, but it was a dope effort. The production was there. Everything that you want from a Kid Cudi project. I mean, you pretty much
yeah.
got.
I'm about to say, if you're a fan of his, you got what you wanted out
All
of
right.
the project. I don't think he lost any fans. I don't think he necessarily gained any.
Right. I mean, it's consistency. Now, anything that you heard today from Cudi, Jack Harlow, or Bodie, you think that any of those are creeping into the top 10 or whatnot, of this year, or top 20? No, because it's been a very strong year.
It has been. When I'm gonna have to give all these projects some more listens. I've only listened to the Jack Harlow once. I've listened to Boldy and Cudi twice. I mean, first of all, Boldy's done 4 projects this year.
Right.
He's made our slept on list for the Versace tape, and he's gonna make our top 20 list for Price of Tea in China.
Right.
I would put this one. I mean, and I know we're done tallying up for the year because it's fucking December. What?
Yeah.
But it's yeah. But I would put it, after listening to it, like neck and neck with the Versace tape, and probably slightly better.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know we're gonna go into the
It's not a Price of Tea in China though. There's like no surf and turf or scrape the bowl or pinto on there. Like, yeah.
We're about to go into our Black Business segment, but I did want to ask you before that. I know that we talked about offline you listening to Burden of Proof from Benny the Butcher again and having new thoughts about it. I mean, talk about like what you hear now and just your thoughts on, just the Burden of Proof altogether.
I'm only going to talk about Benny if we get to talk about Conway later.
Yeah. We'll get to talk about Conway later, and we'll talk about Nas, crowning Conway.
Yeah. No, all jokes aside, I do have some more thoughts. Like, we're doing our end of the year wrap up and putting our stuff together, Mike. And so I've been listening to all the projects, and the top 10 was pretty solidified for the most part. There aren't a lot of changes. There are some shifts.
Right.
But when I went back and listened to the Benny, all those projects that I kind of found between 11 to 20, his was about the best one of a lot of those. I understand some of what people are saying a little bit better now, because there aren't any real true missteps on the album, in the sense that it's like, is there a whack ass song? It's like, well, Timeless is really the worst song on there. It's not a totally awful record. It just doesn't work in my estimation.
Right.
Production wise, Hit Boy did a good job. not a great job. MC wise, he did a good job, not a great job. And so I think because of the anticipation and people wanting to love it, they do love it. It is a really solid and consistent effort, but it is not the album of the year contender that people think it is still, although I have bumped it up quite a few slots.
What did you bump it past, and why?
Oh, good lord! I mean, like so much stuff has shifted on the list. Like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, like I mean, I'm just gonna tell you right quick. I moved Gunna's album further back just because I feel like Lil Uzi Vert and Future's album gives you the same feel, just done better. It's almost like it was an unfair advantage. It's like, well, it's Lil Uzi and Future. Gunna's over here on a solo, you know.
Right, right.
Somebody like Gunner got moved back because like Lil Uzi and Future just dropped what they dropped, and so it's like I kind of moved him past like Ti,
Okay.
Armani, couple other cats.
So you got
Like,
burden of
yeah,
proof over Libra scale.
I did
Okay.
because Libra scale is really dope, but it does have a lot of help that burden of proof doesn't have.
Well, what? How
You
do
were
you
right.
feel as far as
You were
Busta
right.
Rhymes in that
Okay,
vein?
so the difference between the Busta Rhymes and the Ti to me is literally the way the guest artist showed out on the album.
Right. Okay.
And that's why one is in my top 5 at 5 and one is in my 15 to 20 now. Because literally, like, I mean, I think Rick Ross's verse on Mastercard Muhammad,
Mm.
Kid's verse on Don't Go, Rhapsody,
Yeah.
Rock.
You know what? You're right. You're right. I love
Those
Rhapsody's
four-
appearance on
Yeah,
Busta's album.
Mike, those are 4 of the 20 probably best guest appearances I heard this year. They're all on that project, and Busta's still rhyming his ass off, and he put some catchy stuff together still, like, yeah. And so I say skill-wise, like, both of them still kind of proved that they had their tricks in the bag, but the way the artist showed out for Busta and the way it got put together is masterful. Like, and it's the nuances of stuff, and here's what I mean. It's having Rakim rhyme over that The World Is Yours movie.
Well,
That's the difference. And
yeah.
there's so many great projects got made, got slid further up, and one got slid further back.
Well, Cobain says that the best album that came out was 2 Chainz, and we didn't even bring that up. What were your thoughts on the 2 Chainz album?
Chainz made my slept on list. The reason, and I have to be honest with you, the only reason Chainz didn't make this list, it was one of those projects that I feel like almost broke my top 20. I just don't love how that album starts off. There are so many other albums this year that started off with so much better momentum, in my opinion. Like, the last 7, 8 tracks of that album are stellar and some of the best stuff this year, but I hear missteps on the first 4 or 5 tracks, but I still think it's some of his best work. And I want to say this to Cobain, too. Like, this is one of the best rap years ever. I don't remember, like, Mike, I really